What's up everyone, Adam from FWCI Collector's Edition, and I'm gonna rank all the Marvel Legends that I purchased in the year of 2024. Actually, I did buy a bunch of old ones. All the Marvel Legends released in the year of 2024. First of all, if you enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content, and I'm just gonna jump right into it because I've got 45 of these figures to discuss. That's how many Marvel Legends I bought this year. Let alone talking about the wrestling figures, let alone talking about Street Fighter figures, let alone talking about bloody Sailor Moon, NBA, anything remotely Egyptian for the missus. It's been a big year in terms of collecting for me, but we're going to talk about the Marvel Legends. Starting at number 45 is Cowboy Wolverine. This was in the Sabretooth 2-pack. Honestly, if that's the lowest one on the list, it was a pretty good year for Marvel Legends because it's an okay figure. I don't have any need in my collection for Cowboy Wolverine. I don't like the head scans. I think the whole thing's a little bit... Number 44, Executioner from the X-Men 97 wave. He's an okay figure, but he's very limited with articulation because of the outfit, and the character was pretty forgettable, so I still wouldn't put him below Cowboy Wolverine though. Number 43, Prowler Miles. Now, this is a bit of a weird one. I bought this figure when it very first came out. As soon as I opened it up, there's nothing really that wrong with the figure, but I just looked at it and immediately got this feeling of, I don't think I want to collect the Spider-Verse figures anymore. There's something about that figure that just completely turned me off. Not because it's bad, I think I was just... I don't know, maybe I've been buying other stuff lately that's got me in a different kind of frame of mind, but that figure just triggered this thought of like, I think it's time to get out of the Spider-Verse collecting game. So that's why it's so low on my list. And there's going to be another one on the list that's quite low that you're probably going to be throwing your keyboard at the screen. Or throwing your phone at the keyboard. Number 42 is the Blackheart Build-A-Figure. I just didn't like it. I'm not really that familiar with the character. I thought the feet on it were pretty funky. Quentin Tarantino was not a fan of those. The tail had very limited articulation. It was hard to get it in a really, really good pose, but I kind of eventually got there. Overall though, I was not really that impressed by it. It's well made, don't get me wrong. Looks pretty good, but it just has beyond zero personal connection for me. Number 41 is Psylocke from the Wolverine 2-pack with this one right here. You're looking at it. I'm not a fan of the rubber cape cloak thing that she's got on. I think it just completely removes one of the arms from being used in any way other than like just doing this with the elbow. Great face scan on it, very good, but again, not a version of Psylocke that I'm overly familiar with. And even though I think the face scan on it really brings it to life and the paint on it was really good, it wasn't great at standing, it was a little bit hard to balance, and overall, it was a little bit forgettable. Number 40, Infected Wolverine from the Lilandra 2-pack. This is a pretty good figure. The eyes I wish were a little bit brighter. They're like a dark shade of red on a dark black mask, so you can't really see them. But when you really look up close, it's actually a pretty solid face scan, and I ended up using that body for my Weapon of Vengeance Wolverine. So I didn't hate this one, and I did appreciate having the open Wolverine hands in the brown as well, but it gets the number 40 spot. Number 39, Man-Thing. Nothing wrong with this figure at all, but it's Man-Thing. It's very limited in a lot of ways, and I was a bit disappointed that they didn't put the Soul Stone. Oh no, this not the Soul Stone. The what is it? The red one, the Bloodstone. Surprised they didn't put that on the MCU version of the figure. Looks great, very limited. 39 overall. Number 38 is Vision. Now this was from, I can't remember the Build-A-Figure, but this is the comic book version of Vision. I find the cape to be too weighty, and as a result, limiting articulation. The paintwork on it is pretty good, and it definitely looks like Vision, and I'm glad I got it because it sort of completes my more Avengers-themed shelves that have got some non-X-Men characters on it. So, great to have, and on a flight stand, it looks especially good, but it didn't really do a great deal for me in terms of being able to get it looking great just standing there. Number 37 is Lilandra. I like this figure. She's a little bit limited again. They put another one of those rubber capes on her, which limits her a little bit, but I'm so glad that I finally got Lilandra on there. Professor X is even more happy than I am, and she's very iconic, and she's a character that I have a bit of a connection with, so very happy to get Lilandra in the collection. Number 36, Magneto with the X-97 outfit. Not a fan of this. This should maybe be a little bit lower on the list, but the head scans on it were out of this world, and I really like using those on other Magnetos, so that definitely gives a bit of a boost, but don't like that X-Men 97 outfit. I just think it looks ridiculous. And this is the one I think you're going to be upset about. Number 35, Venom, retro card. I think this is a flaming pile of dog shit in comparison to what people are saying that it is. I think this figure is terrible. I think it's got a lot of problems. I'm not a huge fan of the type of claw hands that they gave us, but I can look past that. I understand that they want you to be able to hold stuff in him. It's Venom. What is he holding? But the proportions of the legs are a little bit too short, and then the proportions of the arms are a little bit too long. I don't know what's going on with the torso in the middle. I don't think it has the neck joint either, I believe. Maybe don't quote me on that. But I just found it very difficult to get in a good, fun Venom pose without the need to use a flight stand. So I bought it and I was pretty underwhelmed with it. Number 34, Colossus from the Deadpool movie. I'm glad to get this. We're starting to fill out the movie X-Men universe with Marvel Legends, and I'm definitely here for that. But Colossus is a fairly plain Jane kind of character. All the paint on it, everything was perfectly good, but not good enough to get it above the 34 spot. Number 33, Black Panther. So this is from that same wave as the Vision figure, and I don't like the cape, didn't like it, removed it, left the little thing on there. It looks a little bit weird, but overall it's a good figure. The cape was just doing my head in, and I need to figure out something to fix up what's going on around his neck. But the head and the articulation on it were all great, especially once you remove the cape. Just gotta then figure out what to do with the rest. Number 32 is Wolverine. This is the one that has Wolverine in the white singlet with the dog tags and everything like that. All pinless. I really like the body on that one. I think at the moment I've got it with a Venom head and Venom hands and like black zip tie around one of his arms to make him look like he's going into symbiosis. And the Wolverine heads that you get with those as well both looked really good too. So I am a big fan of that figure. Number 31 is Deadpool from the Legacy set. So this isn't the brighter Deadpool that came out from the movie. This is the one that was a re-release of the 2-pack from Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And the only difference is with this one, the guns were removable, so you can have him toting the guns. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't buy the movie version of it because I think this is everything I could possibly want in a Deadpool movie figure, so, why upgrade? Number 30 is Brother Voodoo from the Strange Tales wave. I liked that wave overall, and I actually really liked the Brother Voodoo figure, but again, the rubber capes, this one did my head in as well. It really limited articulation on one arm in particular, so I removed the cape, and I think he looks a lot better without it, but I like the figure. I think he looks pretty good overall. Just, again, those rubber capes. I don't know what the solution is. I don't think the reasonable, cost-effective solution is to just put soft goods in everything. I don't know. Maybe they need to find a new material of some kind that can hold shape, but also be very, kind of flexible and loose. Number 29 is Patch from the 2-pack with Patch and Joe Fixit. Looks great. Very classy. Wolverine in a tuxedo with an eye patch. It looks really, really fun, and this is probably the one figure that I think has the bigger mainstream crossover than anything else. It's just a really distinctive look, and I love it. Number 28, Cable. So this is the version of Cable that looks like Marvel vs. Capcom. I'm not a huge fan of the baby blue coloring on him, and I'm also not a fan of the guns that we got given with him. I think they were both very underwhelming. It's a great figure in terms of like how it's put together and the detail that they've put into it, but the color, if it makes him fit the X-Men shelf, fine, but I don't know. I don't know what the solution was. Bit darker. Just give me the Cable from the cartoon series. Number 27, Dracula from the Strange Tales wave. I wasn't that impressed with this. I thought people were overreacting to this one quite a lot. I think it's got very limited articulation. I think it has great head scans, and I think you can get it into a very, very cool pose using a flight stand, and you can get him into some cool poses, standing up as well. But I thought it was just limited with articulation, and something about this figure didn't reach out to me and sort of stir my creative juices. So I put it in the number 27 spot. Number 26, Lilith from the Strange Tales wave. Maybe Lilith should be a little bit higher. but mine, the arm doesn't bend. And a little bit difficult to stand up, a little bit back heavy with that blob of plastic on the back of her head and the rubber thing that was on the back. That was what really plagued that Strange Tales wave, was like rubber accessories. She should have been a lot better, and I don't know what we can do to try and fix that Lilith figure. She definitely is still on the shelf because I love the Midnight Suns video game and she's the main villain in that. But yeah, the figure was a bit underwhelming, and with the nostalgia that I have for it, she should have been much higher on that list. Number 25, Bloodstorm. Again, Strange Tales wave, loved it. Go check out my review of that one. I really like this figure. I think it's underrated. I think people were saying that, oh, it's a re-release, it's this, it's that. Even though it's not pinless or anything like that, you can get some really simple, awesome looking poses with this figure. The hands, again, they seem to be making these claw hands that look like they're holding something. I'm not a huge fan of that. I want my claw hands to be like, argh. But the head sculpts we got for Bloodstorm were awesome, both of them, so I really liked this. I think I liked it more than most. Number 24 is the Venom movie figure with the symbiote tendrils coming off the back. I'm a little bit in different worlds about this. On one hand, I really like the, extra parts that you get with it, just from a purely aesthetic kind of standpoint, but I feel like they could have done a lot better with those. But the actual Venom figure itself is, definitely an upgrade from the original movie figure, and I've got him on this amazing flight stand with Carnage there, and they're kind of going at each other. So for me, looking at this on the shelf, it really, really makes me happy, and that's why Venom movie gets number 24. Number 23, Luke Cage from the 2-pack with Iron Fist. Great figure, pretty solid all round. Simple as well, like it's just a guy in jeans and a yellow tank top and things like that, but they gave us great accessories with it. We got some different heads with it. Mine was very loose, right around the midsection, kind of like, you could kind of spin it almost. So that was a bit disappointing for me, and I haven't had a great chance to really do some photography and stuff with this, but I have found that, the stance, the stoic stance is the way to go with him, and great articulation, great accurate comic face as well. Luke Cage, number 23. Number 22, Joe Fixit. This is from that Wolverine 2-pack, and I think the Wolverine is great, don't get me wrong. The eye patch and everything like that looks schmick, but a grey Incredible Hulk in a goddamn dinner suit, looking the way he does, just makes me very, very happy, and again, very distinctive. He's a nice big figure. Articulation and stuff like that, sure, if they could figure out a way to make it highly articulated, I'd love it, but I don't think it needs to be, because it's Joe Fixit. He just needs to stand there looking like Joe Fixit. Number 21, Wolfsbane. I don't have a great deal of connection with this character as yet. I'm definitely trying to complete my Zazu Build-A-Figure wave for the missus, actually. She likes any animal figures, so now we're trying to finish Zazu. But Wolfsbane was, she looks great. I love the X-Men uniform. I love the, pinless articulation. She's very fun to pose. Really matches in nicely with any kind of little X-Men sub-collection because she's got that distinctive yellow and blue outfit on. So, not overly familiar with the character. Love the figure. And now we're into the top 20. Starting at number 20, the Goblin Queen from the X-Men 97 wave. Fantastic looking figure. All the pinless parts they used on it are definitely appreciated. Really, I've seen some great custom soft goods capes used for the Goblin Queen figure that I'd love to get my hands on one day. But even the cape that we've got with it, I've been bitching this whole video about the rubber capes. This one is great because it has these points on it. You can use it as a kind of tripod way of standing and keeping her balanced in even more dynamic poses. So this is an example of where Marvel Legends do the cape the right way, and it definitely made this figure pop even more. Number 19, She-Hulk from the Iron Man animated series wave. Just looks fantastic. That toxic green looks awesome. The purple looks awesome. She stands above everybody else. Maybe another head sculpt would have been good. Their head is very big and heavy, but fortunately the body is, quite staunch as well. So she just looks great. I think you can add her to any comic book shelf and she would fit right in. Number 18 is Moon Knight from the Strange Tales wave. There we go, another one of those ones. He was pretty good. I think he's an upgrade of what we've got, but he is also kind of the same as what we've got in the past as well. And again, the capes, the rubber goods capes, I'm not a fan of them. It's not too bad with that Moon Knight, but it definitely makes it feel like the old figures, even though this one's got, some gold parts on it and, is updated in a few other ways. It still kind of makes it feel inhibited. And it is a new rubber cape, still just not perfect in my opinion. Number 17, I'm just going to put these in the same entrant here because I feel pretty much the same way about both of them. It's Spider-Man and Wolverine from the Fantastic Four 2-pack. I loved putting these guys with the Franklin and whatever her name is. Great little weird sub-Fantastic Four team, but the Wolverine articulation, the claws that they gave us with it, the blue that they used on the mask, it really, really pops from a visual standpoint. Black and blue Wolverine just really stands out. And the exact same thing can be said for Spider-Man. We got some great articulation on that as well. The logo's on there. It's just a very unique take on these two very popular characters that makes a lot of sense. We're not just looking at complete randomness from them, we're looking at them in the Fantastic Four. There's a full identity and story that goes with just looking at these characters. So I couldn't separate them. They are joint number 17. Number 16 is the Carnage movie figure. Now, this is a big boy. I found him very difficult to pose standing up, but once you get him on a flight stand, to say that it comes to life is an understatement. Like the size of it, the tendrils, how far they come out, just the imposing nature of this figure in comparison to the Venom, which is also quite big, to start with. Just looks amazing, and I was very happy getting this one when it first came out. I didn't hate the Venom movies. I didn't think they were that great, but I didn't hate them. Number 15 is the Wolverine from the Psylocke 2-pack. This is the Wolverine in the black suit. I just love that figure. It's so simple, but it just looks great. And the butterfly joints on it, they go back so far. I've just felt like I could get some really legitimate comic book kind of poses with all the contorted, body and everything like that from this figure in particular. The head scans on them were pretty good. They're new Wolverine ones. They look great, but they put this blue highlights in the hair to kind of, it gives it almost a cell shading kind of vibe without doing any cell shading, and I think they knocked it out of the park. So the only thing I wish it had was better claws on it, but I love that figure and I have had that on display ever since I got it. Number 14, again, really hard to separate these three, so I'm just going to put them all in one entrant. It's Dum Dum Dugan, Nick Fury, and Sharon Carter from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. 3-pack. The Sharon Carter, we know that figure is fantastic. It's using the new Black Widow body mold. I just don't like the black shoes on it. If they were white, it might have even pulled this up the list a little bit. But Dum Dum and Nick Fury, they look great in that S.H.I.E.L.D. outfit. I've, picked up the Maria Hill figure. I need to get another one so I can have Quake. Just pairing those with, other S.H.I.E.L.D. characters that I've got in the collection just really makes an entire shelf look legitimate and come to life. So I was a huge fan of that 3-pack. Number 13, the Incredible Nightcrawler from the X-Men 97 wave. Love the pinless Nightcrawler that we got for this one here. Bunch of different heads on it and everything like that. Get your spare swords out, get them in his hand so he can be like 9. Blue tack one to his tail, if you please. A lot of nostalgia for Nightcrawler and myself and, the articulation that Marvel Legends do. I do have the original Nightcrawler, the one that has like the pinned joints and everything like that. And this one really stands out way above. Number 12, Iron Fist from the Iron Fist Luke Cage 2-pack. I'm still getting used to this one here, and I don't think the toe articulation on this one is much of a success. It doesn't feel as good as it did on the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, but he looks great. The effect pieces that we got with him were awesome. The amount of hands that we got were very impressive, so we can have him doing all these martial arts poses and things like that. But this is Iron Fist straight out of the comics, so if you like that character and you want to have him in your collection, the reason I picked up the Luke Cage Iron Fist one is because I'm trying to complete the Marvel Ultimate Alliance roster. So I don't know who Penance is. I've only ever seen him in that game, but I guess I'm waiting for his figure. Number 11, and it breaks my heart a little bit that I can't put this in the top 10 because I really love this figure. It's Hallows Eve from the Spider-Man retro card wave. I knew nothing about this character, but as soon as they announced it and I saw that black and orange outfit and the white face, I immediately started to pay attention. I was like, I might pick that one up. I don't know who that character is, but the appearance of that with the scarf and everything, love what I'm looking at right there. And she lived up to it. She's been on display the entire time. I love the powers. I have looked into who she is now and what her deal is. I know she has these masks that give her different powers. Love the representation of that in the figure. Very, very good one. If you haven't got Hallows Eve, I recommend checking it out. But let's get into the top 10. Now, starting with number 10, it's the Weapon of Vengeance. And I display this, like I say, with the body that I got with the, what is it, the Lilandra, no, the Psylocke 2-pack. I just think it looks a little bit more hellish, I guess. I don't know. Does it? Maybe it doesn't. But that skull with the flaming fire that goes into like the Wolverine mask shape, that is something else. Love the flaming claws on this. They absolutely knocked it out of the park. And for somebody that has a bunch of Wolverines already, this one definitely stood out to me. So I love the Weapon of Vengeance. Definitely takes prime display on the shelf. Number 9, Jean Grey from the X-Men 97 Wave 2. Great Jean Grey. I mean, I don't think you can really fault this in any way at all. I saw some guy doing a review and he's talking about it's not curvaceous enough, but I didn't really notice that or care to look, to be honest. It seemed to be a perfectly normal looking Jean Grey as far as I can see. I love the articulated hair. I love the multiple heads that we got with this particular figure. And yeah, in my opinion, a huge step up from the Renew Your Vows version. Number 8 is Sabretooth from the Wolverine 2-pack. Loved this figure. It could be better, and I definitely see people complaining about the size of the head in comparison to the body. My opinion on that is I think Sabretooth's head in the cartoon was too small. I think it looks way better with a more normal size head, but I can see that people were complaining about that. For me, I don't care. This just made my X-Men cartoon villain shelf complete. It really does. I've got a few others to still get, like Blob and Mojo and MODOK and all that. Sabretooth is a favorite of mine from the cartoon series, so I was happy to get him in figure form. That figure also was quite unique because I picked that up in retail, and for some reason it came out in Australia like a month before anywhere else, so that video did tons of views. It's probably how you found out about this channel if you're watching right now, so thank you for that. Number 7 is the movie version of Wolverine in the yellow suit. Like probably many of you, this is 20 years in the making for me. I remember seeing the first X-Men movie in the movie theaters, and I really liked the suit that they used in the Deadpool movie, and props to Hasbro for how quickly they were able to get these figures out. And smart move as well. You want to definitely capitalize on the buzz and success of that movie when it was happening. The unmasked head sculpt looks absolutely amazing. The claws on it were great. I think they knocked it out the park with that figure. Maybe put a bit of a wash through it because it does look a little bit yellow and plastic, but people have been putting a wash through it. People have been changing the arms on it. I'm just going to wait for another one to come out with all the bells and whistles and see what Hasbro can produce. Number 6 is Diamond Hellstrom, the Devil's Son from the Strange Tales wave. What a surprising figure. I did not think I was going to give two shits about this, but the articulation they've got on it, the way that this figure can pose, the articulation you can get with the head on it in particular, the pose possibilities with his trident and everything like that. This figure has so much personality and it looks great in so many different poses. It's probably the most posable figure on this list, which means a lot to me personally. And again, this is a character, don't know, don't care, love this figure. Top 5 time, and number 5 is Angel from the X-Men with his giant bird wings. It's his seat in a bell shape. Now, if this figure hasn't shit on your car, you're probably agreeing with me that it deserves to be in the top 5. I love the fact that I could get this figure posed with the wings standing up. You don't need to get it on a flight stand. It didn't come with a flight stand, but they really, I don't know if perfected is the word, but they really took a big step forward in terms of making wings that plug into these figures that are very durable and very firm and strong, and you can use them to balance. It's not just wobbling like crazy like the Venom Null 2-pack and Venom with those giant bat wings. Like, they were just impossible to get it to sort of stand up properly. But the figure looks fantastic. You get a couple of different heads on it as well, but anything that adds to my animated X-Men collection, I'm all over it. Angel, you are number 5. Number 4 is Ghost Rider Danny Ketch. The bike that came with this and all the fire accessories definitely put it up the list. The figure itself is pretty good, but I just love... I think I've been a little bit underwhelmed with the last Ghost Rider that came out. That's the only other one I've got. That's the retro card one. This just was such an improvement on that, and the penance stare eyes just really added to it as well. And there was a lot of chatter about, you know, Ghost Rider really only comes with one chain, so you should only pose him with one chain. And most people pose him with two chains. And I'm just... This is what Optimus Prime waited on this. Shartimus Prime said, one chain, that's all you gotta do. Personally, give me 3 chains.
Who brings fire, penance and shame, and we're to believe it's worth one chain. Doesn't that sound a little bit tame? One chain with a little bit of flame. 3 chains, 3 chains, 3 chains, 3 chains. Daddy catch, dude's got a tape. 2 more chains to bring the pain. 3 chains.
Number 3, Cyclops from the X-Men 97 wave. I mean, the perfect Cyclops figure. It's perfect for the animated series, which in my opinion, for me, being, you know, born in 1986, that X-Men animated series was the shit. And when I think of any X-Men character, the animated series is always the first image that comes into my head. And this is all pinless. It was really well made, like the butterfly joints and just the knees and everything like that. Just nice and stiff, and you can really get him in some dynamic poses just because of the quality of the actual figure itself and the production of making these pinless joints still, you know, nice and tight. And obviously Hasbro was still working through that, but whatever they did with this X-Men 97 wave, they need to do more of that because they absolutely killed this. Speaking of the X-Men, number 2 on the list is the Jean Grey Phoenix. And I mean, again, 20 years in the making, 30 years in the making. I always loved the stories about the Phoenix. I even didn't mind the one from the X-Men The Last Stand. I know it's a pretty severe departure from what happens in the comics and everything like that, but anytime you can get the Phoenix involved, I just love the duality of Jean Grey having these 2 conflicting personalities. Oh, I just realized, maybe not the Sophie Turner one. When I went and saw that and she made Professor X walk up the stairs, I don't know if I was supposed to laugh my fucking ass off, but I did. I was one of the only people in the movie theater that did. And I thought it was genuinely supposed to be funny. But what isn't funny is this action figure. This is just straight up fire, literally and figuratively. The prop that you create to put the bird on there and the way Jean Grey kind of fits in there, they found, you know, 2 places to put her shoe. A lot of articulation on that figure as well, which is always welcome too. But I just put my Dark Phoenix retro card in that fire accessory because that's gonna go on the X-Men villain shelf. The Dark Phoenix over the green suit Phoenix, and some really good head scans on that figure as well. It was just next level. My number 1 Marvel Legend figure that I purchased this year, and there's a few that I didn't get, like I haven't got any of the Secret Wars or anything like that. You know, there's a few waves that I missed out on completely, but the one thing I didn't miss out on is Warbird. As I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to finish my Marvel Ultimate Alliance roster collection, and when I saw that this was revealed, I was like, let's fucking go. I'm not like a huge Carol Danvers fan or anything like that. You know, I've got like a couple of Captain Marvels and they're okay. But this one's just so iconic. It's got that, you know, let's just say it's got the skanky suit on, which we all know and love from the 90s and the 2000s. And sometimes Hasbro is a little bit timid about going there with some of their female action figures. And I'm just glad that this one looks exactly like it looks in the video game and in the old school comics. And add some extra effects. I got some Captain Marvel fireball effects from the SH Figure Arts version. Whack those on the hand. This thing pops on a shelf. The black and yellow stands out so much with that big blonde hair that looks like it's in the wind as well. I love this figure a lot. And she just replaced my SH Figure Arts Captain Marvel on my, what do you call it, Midnight Suns shelf, because I love the video game, I like the roster in that game, but I love Warbird more than anything else. So, but I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what your favorite figure was on this list, or what was your personal favorite Marvel Legend from the year 2024. And then subscribe, because maybe I'll do a video reading everybody's replies one day. Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be fun. Thanks for checking this one out, and as always everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your figs. See you in the next video. Peace.